Hey, welcome to the Travel Winds podcast. And today my guest is photographer Kevin Talley. How are you today, Kevin?
Hey Pete, thanks for having me, my friend.
I appreciate the time. It's gonna be a good one, guys. Kevin and I spent some time talking before we got the recording started. Kind of give us your background of being a photographer.
Well, as we talked, I'll be 50 in December. When I was 17 years old, the same old story you hear about models get discovered in a mall. I had a guy walk up to me and say, "Dude, you ever thought about being a model?" And I was like, "This is in Louisville, Kentucky." And I'm like, "Model? You're hearing with this is in the 80s. I had like a
Yeah.
mullet and pimples, and I dressed like MC Hammer pants and stuff like that.
So no different than today. Gotcha.
No different than today. I lost the zits, the mullet. I still have the MC Hammer pants, but no. And I got into modeling here locally, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I worked for you. You don't work as a model. That's it. You have a job and you still go to do your regular life. And but I did it for over 20 years. I did get to go to Miami with Elite and Wilhelmina, and some other agencies out there as well, because you're allowed to multi-list in Miami as a model. I was in LA off and on for 2 years, never lived, but I did like elongated stays. And in 2009, 2010, my mother got diagnosed with brain cancer, passed away just like very short time after that. And I moved away with a girl in Iowa. And,
Okay.
and I know that sounds crazy. And this is the northwest corner of a town of 9,000 people called Sioux Center, not Sioux City, Sioux Center. It was an hour south of Sioux Falls and an hour north of Sioux City. And I remember we got there around this time. It was around Derby time, May 6th. I remember it was like 29 degrees outside. And here in Louisville, it's like already in the 80s. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I hate it, But she had a dog. It's a very Dutch community. Everyone is like, the last name is Van something, Van Tassel, Van Z, Van this, Van that. And everyone's blonde hair, blue eyed. So Jill had a Canon camera, and I had played with photography, not just a complete hobbyist, never like learned settings, nothing like that. And she just had a starter kit camera, and I started shooting pictures of her daughter's friends, and blah, 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 blah. And when I moved back to Louisville a year later, I started doing that as not even a profession, more of just a hobby / you want to pay me? Sure, fantastic. Let's make some money out of it. And I had seen someone on social media do this thing called an urban ballet type series, where they had like ballerinas out in the middle of the street on a bridge, whatever, doing their kicks, their plies, all their And so I did the same exact thing. And I met a girl who ran the Brown Hotel downtown Louisville. It's a very fancy big hotel downtown, and they put me in their gallery in December of 2013. It was there for 3 months right before Derby happened, and it was like my big ego moment as a photographer, and that helped carry me into doing more photography. And I was doing, basically back then, when you start off as a photographer, the old saying, don't be a jack of all trades, master of none. I was that. I was a jack of all trades. I was shooting anything and everything. And my niche developed over time as getting to fitness models. And it was not, I still shoot more than just fitness models, but I had met a couple of popular fitness models like in this area, like the whole region that on stage, and I had shot their photos. And then when those people's friends saw who shot them, they start coming to me, and then like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
And then my goal after that is I want to be in like Oxygen magazine or Muscle and Fitness or something like that. Like I want to shoot magazines. That's my goal. And I had shot a couple of regional magazines, nothing fancy. Then I had like a bigger magazine. But then I had a girl that I had shot pictures of. Literally, probably a year and a half had gone by since I shot the photos. So they're over a year and a half, 2 years old. And I had submitted these photos to a publishing house out of South Africa that has like 25 magazines. And they had contacted me and said, "Hey, do you have another set of this particular girl?" I was like, "Oh my God, let me show you."
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I had sent them a bunch of it, and she was my first big girl that I got in Muscle Fitness FHM, which is just like Maxim magazine, and Men's Fitness, the women's feature inside Men's Health and Men's Fitness. And then all of a sudden, I got her in, and then I started just kind of putting it out there that this is what I just did. And you would not believe it was fantastic. Everybody and their mom was coming in to shoot with me. Yeah. I still, to this day, every single month have either 2 to 3 people fly in from out of state to stay and shoot with me. And it's the most humbling thing I've ever had happen. I had a girl
awesome.
drive 9 hours from Michigan to shoot with me, a girl from Tuscaloosa, a girl from Tampa fly in to shoot. And I've had New York, New Jersey, Austin, Dallas, Houston. I've had Toni Hudson, the actress from Los Angeles. She's been here 3 times. I just had Catherine Mary Stewart, Last Starfighter, Night of the Comet, my crush. Weekend at Bernie's, she was in all that. She was here for 4 nights and 5 days. We did an actor's workshop, shot her photos. I started my own magazine. I put her on the cover of it.
Yeah.
And we'll go through all that. I know it's a whole lot I'm throwing at you.
No, that's good.
Diane Franklin coming in. If you remember her from the movie Better Off Dead with John Cusack, she was the French exchange student's girlfriend in the movie.
We actually bought that DVD during COVID.
Really?
Yeah.
And so I'm meeting her. I'm picking her up at the airport in 2 weeks from now. And she'll be here, same thing. She'll be here Thursday night, shooting her stuff Friday, after workshop Saturday and Sunday. She's leaving Monday. So she'll be here for 4 nights also. And she wants to kind of redo all the photos from the movies that she was in.
Oh, nice.
From the Adventure, when she was like a winch back in the day of the, that kind of thing. And of course, Amityville Horror Part 2, or The Possession, The Last American Virgin. And Better. I told her, I said, I'd love to do something like Better Off Dead, where you're underneath. I have a Lincoln Navigator, like she's underneath it. And I'm going, hey, what are you doing in my car? And she slides out out. And she has the French accent. I'm trying to fix your car, or whatever. I was like, that would be I want to do something like that. That'd be so much fun. I love doing shit like that.
Get her throwing oranges at a stop sign.
Oh my God, yeah. They have a little kid. Where's my $2?
Oh man.
So after I got the first few magazines, I got a few other magazines, same publishing house. And then I got into Playboy. I had a first girl that wanted to shoot for Playboy. And the way that a lot of this works, not everyone gets their stuff in. You have to be kind of quote unquote a preferred photographer, if you want to call it that. I submit my stuff. It doesn't mean they're going to get in it, but I've also learned you don't want to just submit anyone. You want to make sure it's quality work, quality models, because they want to put that quality out as well. So if you send them, not so great quality models, they're going to say, let's just delete Kevin and not open his emails no more. So I want to keep sending the best of the best kind of thing. Yeah. So in the last 3 years, I've gotten over 30 Playboys, over 30 FHMs, over 25 Muscle and Fitness. I got a cover last year, Muscle Fits Hers, with my good friend Emma on the cover. And actually right here in front of me. And I have to pull out the magazine. It's just underneath my laptop. I got to show it to you. This is my cover. And that's Emma. She's in Winchester, Kentucky. And this is and it's actually it's all natural light. The same light you're seeing coming in on me, on my face right here. This is I shot on a white wall. I didn't even use my strobes in that particular shot that they used. And then the spread inside, I was like, oh my God, my first cover. And that was just last year. So I still get a high doing what I do. But a lot of the work I do is models. I shoot a lot of models. I get a lot of models signed. And I realized I had several moms that say, Kevin, do you realize how much experience you have? And you got all these other agencies in town that are not really, they're agencies, but they're almost like a for-profit agency. You know what I mean? Right. Everyone's for profit.
They are. Yeah.
But they force you to take classes that you don't have to take. They want you to use their photographer for the most part, to keep it all in-house. And they make more money off their model than they do their the client. And if you go to the website of Next Models in Los Angeles, and you look at how many females they got, they maybe have 100 or less female models. In LA, where modeling jobs are plentiful, right? Yeah. You look at Louisville, Kentucky, you go to, I'm not going to mention any of the agency websites, but you go to one of their websites, and there's over 1,000 models for a city that has this much work compared to LA or Miami, because they're making a bank off these classes. They're charging $75 or more per class. They're charging $1,500 for you to be a model. It's when I was in LA,
for profit.
Right. The only thing I ever had to pay for was my pictures. That was it. You pay for your photos. Yeah. And they had preferred photographers they like you to use because they know what they're looking for, and that this photographer knows how to shoot it, and that's what the one they'd like for you to do. And I would, but they don't care if you search out of the box.
Yeah, and they didn't profit off of it either.
Exactly. They make profit.
That's what I was always told. I was told the same thing. It's for the company I work for, it's based in Denver, and they use Denver-based models for all the clothing and boots that we shoot. And the one girl we use, who's gorgeous, is literally a welder, a commercial developed welder during the day. You know, the other one, Rachel, who I had on my show, is a real estate agent, and she's a mom. She just beat cancer. She actually had her chemo pump in her when she
Oh
was
my God.
doing our walk. We did a market every January, and so they would walk around with the new closings. And
Right.
she showed me the chemo pump, you know, and you're like, holy Christ, it's an inspiring story. But it was all the same way. It's like, you know, for Denver, it's like you're right that a lot of the modeling companies would make money off
The models, yeah.
everything.
And the girl you mentioned, a welder. I mean, hello, Jennifer Beals,
I
flash
know,
dance. Is a welder at night or a welder in the day, dancer at night.
but that's why I told her, and because she's younger, so she doesn't know flash dance. That's the other weird part about getting old. I don't know if you had this, Kevin. Like I mentioned things, and the young people are like, "Who?"
I know. Yes. What artist? A singer? I never heard this song before. Yeah.
I'm like, James Dean. You know,
Who wouldn't know James Dean? They're like, what?
I know several people. And they're all in their 20s, and I'm like, "What the f are you talking about?"
It does make you feel a little old, especially when you watch movies, even in the 90s. Because a lot of the models I shoot are probably born 2000 and up.
Yeah,
They're like, you figure 20 years ago, they're 21, they're 18 to 23 years old.
yeah.
Yeah. You know what Y2K is? No. I was like, damn, like here I like empty my bank account out and you weren't even born yet.
It was last year, 2021, when the meme came out and said, "Just so you know, the people getting carded and being allowed to drink this year were born in the year 2000."
Yeah.
And you're like,
That's weird. Think that.
"What? That can't be."
I know. I remember my 21st birthday like it was yesterday. Every single asset or aspect of it, the limo, the people we met, the places we went, it feels like yesterday. And it's like, damn, that was
30
30
years.
flipping years ago. Like, what in the hell happened? It goes by quick, man.
No doubt.
That's why I'm enjoying what I do now. If my guidance counselor said in high school says, Kevin, one day would you like to
Yeah.
take pictures of hot naked women? I like, well,
Yes.
yes.
Yes,
But yeah,
please.
I didn't expect to do what I do for a living. I really did. I love what I do. I absolutely love it. I like the idea of being able to get a new girl coming in, show her. I say her because 99% of my clients are women.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of them they have no clue how modeling works. I have a lot of the moms that will ask me 1,000 questions online.
Yeah.
Well, they want me to do this at this agency. I was like, sweetheart, I text them back and say, this is not a real agency who you're talking to. Do not go over there. Go to like Ford, Elite, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, how old's your daughter? She's 16. Are you all going to move to New York, LA, Miami anytime soon? No. Well, forget it, because you're going to have to move. They're not going to represent you unless you live in that city or state where they're at, it's a lot to it. And a lot of people just get, not robbed, but they just kind of get blindsided. They're going to get a lot of money out front from the model, and then they will never probably see the money back doing model jobs. Very few people locally, like in Louisville market or Cincinnati, Nashville, you got larger markets there, and they're here in Louisville. I think Nashville's 3 hours south. I'm in Oldham County, Kentucky, so Cincinnati's like an hour north. So you got better market there to do work, but there's work here. There is, but it's just not enough to make a living off of. It's like hobby modeling, I call it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because everyone looks at the Tom Cruise and Jennifer Lawrence and those type of things, but if you look at the bulk of the movies, they're not, they're filled with a lot of people, and everybody, pretty much everybody you see. I did some background work, extra work when I was in between jobs, and so I was on Parks and Rec, and and I was the waiter that walked Amy Poehler and Adam Scott out to their table at a restaurant. But everybody in that restaurant is an actor,
Right.
working, getting paid, very very little bit money, but still getting paid.
Yep.
And the scene that we shot never even made it into the episode.
Oh wow.
So all that money that they spent to buy a restaurant for a night, at least 100 people, because you had all the extras, the restaurant patrons and all that, never even got used in the episode.
Yeah.
So you're like, what a waste of money,
There's an actor you and I talked about earlier. We were discussing. His name's Neil Jackson, the Brit actor. Super nice guy. He had played in Quantum of Solace with with Neil Jackson. and the James Bond movie.
James Bond,
He
yeah.
played a bunch of other movies like around that same time. And for a living, he had to do Uber driving. Like was his job.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, and he told me how humbling it was. He says he will never ever talk shit to anyone like who's not an actor or looks up to him like because he's an actor. Like he said, dude, I forget how he said, like I can bleed just like you, or basically something like that. But then he started getting a bunch of he got in a big Disney series. He played on a Netflix, or it was Prime. It's called Absentia or something like that, where his sister was an FBI agent, kidnapped for so many years. It was a series. He was a doctor. Fabulous series. I was like, oh my God, dude. And then I reached out to him because I had shot pictures with him back in 2009, I believe, in Santa Barbara. And I've always stayed in touch. And he was one of my first celebrity guests, so to speak, on my little podcast I did, which I've not done like 5 interviews. Most of it's just me talking on YouTube about the modeling industry and how to get into it more than anything else.
But I think that's where podcast should be for things like that. I've told a lot of people, to use podcasting as a venue to explain to what, how do you talk about yourself without sounding like an arrogant jerk,
Right.
So you talk about the industry and it gives people a platform and where you get to explain yourself a little bit better.
Right. They can see you face to face, so to speak, and say, yeah, okay, I like how this guy is speaking. He sounds like he's honest, or he sounds like a car salesman, that kind of thing. Yeah. That's why I try to.
For some people, it might be bad.
I agree with it.
Maybe you shouldn't do that.
I want to do more of it. I have my hair and makeup girl I use all the time. Her name's Misty, and she's from Bullitt County, a little south of Louisville. And she talks just like this. Hey, Kevin, talks like, and I said, I can just see like, her and I doing a podcast off each other, doing like, so the other day I was doing this and that. And I'm just, I make fun of her voice all the time, her accent.
We went to the Loveless Cafe in Nashville, just south of Nashville. And my wife and I, it was our first time visiting Nashville. And it's a restaurant out in the middle of nowhere. We were told it's excellent food. You got to go. And we're like, all right. We had Reagan. And Reagan was just super sweet, and she would help you out with anything you need. Have you ever had the muffins here? No. I'm gonna wait for the fresh biscuits to come out. I want you to try out the biscuits, and just sound just like right out of a movie. And you're like, oh my God. She went to New York to try and become an actor. Lived there for 2 years, hated it, or didn't like it, I should say, and came back, and moved back to Nashville.
New York's harsh. New York is. Yeah.
But boy, same way, that same great, awesome accent. It was like
I was driving from Miami back to Louisville, and I stopped in. You drive just 71 north. I forgot the highway, but just over the border from Tennessee into Kentucky, I stopped at a restaurant to get I was craving a Dr. Pepper, and I pulled up and I did not see it, and she says. I'm on the speaker, so she's you can't understand. She goes, just come on up, honey. I'll talk to you at the window, Yeah. So I pull up and I said, you don't have Dr. Pepper? She'll I get you a Pibb. Like, so Pibb. She got me a Mr. Pibb. And I thought, I get you a Pibb.
Close enough.
I'll never forget that accent.
I went to Louisiana for my first time.
Yeah.
And the lady at the restaurant found out that was my first time ever in Louisiana, and she literally brought out it was a Cajun seafood place. She brought me out a little bit of everything so I could try it out before I ordered my dinner. And just like
right there.
Southern hospitality at its all-time finest.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you don't get that anywhere. That's for sure.
You don't get that in California.
No.
Or Vegas.
I've been to California a few times, but I don't know if I'd ever want to live there, especially now. But it's just a different world. But yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of the modeling industry goes out there, so I got to keep my contacts out there still to this day.
So I really like what you're doing with the modeling and having the actors workshop, because I think there is such I think a lot of the girls, because like you said, most of your clients are girls, think that, oh, I'm going to stand this way, pose this way, look this way. And yet it's not that. It's really projection. So that's where I think the actor workshops come into play.
Oh, yeah. When I was in Miami, I did a video on this on my social media. It's like more than 90% of the stuff I did, I had to almost act the part.
Yeah.
And not necessarily like you're performing, you're put in a actor's position, or you're trying to portray somebody else. it's like just even like you walking from one side to the other and saying, hey, would you like to try our new Sam's water? You know, oh, sure, here you go. And I was, so right before the housing market crash of '08, I was going to be an Animal Planet host. And it was the most corniest thing ever. I'm allergic to cats like you would not believe. And I lied to the guy and said, oh no,
I
have
love
no
cats.
allergies, you know. And I'm holding this little dog. It was the director's dog. He's a little aggressive. And I had to put little oyster crackers in my pocket, and I had to keep feeding them off camera. And literally I had to say, oh, what was the line? Oh, I had a few lines because we did this for over a week, and we're gearing me up to be like the host, and the guy who was like out on the field actually doing the, you know, the Philly touchy guy with the animals and whatnot. And it was like, don't touch it. It was like, don't touch that remote, but it had to do with the dog. Like, I forgot what it was now. But anyway, yeah. So we did this for like 2 weeks straight. And then all of a sudden the housing market thing happened, and they totally dropped the whole thing. I went,
oh man.
I was like, oh my God, this could, you know, I had a chance to be on Passions,
Nice.
soap opera way back in, this is going to be
I remember that.
I was going to be like a walk-on, they called it, basically, and just see what happens. I remember I was out in California. I met the photographer guy. His name's John Russo. He's a big photographer out there who shot some photos for me for a magazine I was in. And I'll tell you about that story too. It's kind of a neat little story. So I had a chance to be on Passions. I had just gone through a divorce. My daughter was 8 years old at the time. I flew back to Louisville, and I remember I was telling her Daddy's going to move to California, and the water faucet just came on in both eyes. And I just looked at her and I said, I can't move. There's no way. I cannot do this right now. She just lost her mom and daddy, you know, as me and mom and daddy together. And now Daddy's going to move away. It sounds so cliche. I was like, I can't do this. Yeah. So I stayed. I never did do it. I had a chance to be on The Bachelorette. Nice. This would have been back in 2008 or 2009, one of those. I was in Miami at the time. Because the reason they asked me to be on it without having to do any of the, like, send in your video, submit this, submit that. The magazine I was in was Playgirl magazine. When I went through my divorce, I submitted my photos to Playgirl, and I was their April 2005 centerfold. And then I thought I was done with it. You know, they flew me to Phoenix. We drove to Scottsdale. We shot the Four Seasons, which is like this beautiful resort in the desert, you know, area. And it's like a bunch of Pueblos in the desert in a roundabout way on a golf course. And each Pueblo was like two stories. And me and this guy, Russo was the celebrity photographer for the guy. Oh, okay. So we shot on the second floor, and it was just me and him. And I've never done anything like this in my entire life. I had fingernails before I got on the plane. By the time I landed, I had no fingernails. I was just, you know, fighting the whole way. So then after the centerfold came out, I got to do a lot of local celebrity stuff. I got to go to all the big derby events, include the Barnstable Brown Party with all the biggest celebrities. And everyone thought I was a soap actor. You know, I was like, no, I'm just a penis model, you know? And so, but then I thought I was all done with it. And then it came in via email because they had lost my phone number. Her name was Jill Sikowski. It was from New York. And she said, hey, Kevin, this is Jill. I'm the editor of Playgirl magazine. We want to congratulate you. You won 2006 Playgirl magazine's Man of the Year. I was like, holy shit. You know, so she said, can you please give us a call? We lost your number. So I called right away. I'm like, you know, no fingernails again. Yeah. And she says, yeah, did you like, you know, did you like advertise that you were up for Playgirl? I was like, no. I said, I didn't know I was even up for it. She says, you had the most votes in the magazine's history. Most guys get between 700 to 800, 900 votes. You had over 12,000 votes. And I was like, no. I said, like, you know, this.
I told my mom to stop.
I told mom to quit enter button. So then I said yes, of course. Yeah. And I remember I was going to New York. They had it all planned out, and of all things, the photographer's name was Greg Weiner. I'm not joking. That was the guy's name who's going to shoot it.
Of course.
So then about a month and a half had gone by, and I started having second emotions about doing it again. Not because of some religious thing or some in-depth my daughter thing. It's like I did it the first time. I went through a divorce. Yeah. I was in that frame of mind of like, I just want to do something for me, you know? And when this came back, I was like, oh my God, hell yeah, I'll do this, badass. And then I had time to think about it. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't feel the need to do it again. So I sent them an email and saying I turned it down, and I've never heard one peep from them since.
I bet.
But then my local newspaper, the Courier Journal, put me on the front page of the Sunday paper and says, Playgirl no show. See the guy who won Playgirl and turned it down. And
Well, that's gonna be the new headline for this episode.
Hey now,
Kevin's like, oh shit.
But I got again even though I did that, we had a big Easter Seals thing here, and like I got to sit next to Warren Beatty, Lee Majors, like Bonnie Man. They were in their group. But go back a year prior for the actual Derby events.
Yeah.
Randy Jones from the Village People was in my group. Tammy Faye Baker, before she passed away, was in our group. Debbie Gibson, the singer, was in our group. About 8 of us all together, 2 soap actors, and then Andy Warhol's best friend was in our group, who now designs necklaces, and I think is what he did. I can't remember off the top of my head now. And he was in our group, and so we all hung out. We went to different groups together, or different venues together. And I remember we were at this first place, and I'll never forget this. This is my first celebrityism. We're sitting there eating dinner, and everyone can come into this certain venue where we're at. And I did not know, but the guy who did his name was Bobby Kaiser. He had purchased over 500 Playgirl magazines that I was in for this, because I was one of the guests that was going to be there. So I'm sitting there eating dinner, and I keep looking over to my right shoulder, and I see a girl, and literally, here's what she's doing. And she kept looking up like that and looking at me. And I was going, I started blushing. I started sweating in my suit. Like, oh my God. And I saw her look at her friend and go, oh, like that. So I go and get this ice sculptor thing, and I was getting some food, and I had that girl went over. She says, can I get your autograph? And I'd never signed a magazine in my life. So I said, sure. And so I'm kneeling down. I talked to her for a minute. I'm signing a couple things. And I did another one right behind her. So I started signing her, talked to her for a minute or two. And I swear to God, Pete, within 5 minutes, I had over 50 people in line wanting me to sign their magazine.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. So then Playgirl kind of put you on a little bit of a tour. They want you to kind of go to a few clubs and whatnot, try to promote the magazine and whatnot. So I did that for a while. And this is me post-divorce. So you can imagine, like, oh yeah.
Game time.
I'm back.
Yeah. It's game time.
It's game night, yes. So I did all of that.
I got nothing. I don't even know my head's spinning about the questions I could ask.
Go ahead. I've had so many.
No.
My last name's Talley. I've had Talley Whacker come into it 100 times.
See, I didn't even go there. Now I got to think. See, now should I use that as the episode cover title?
Possibly.
Kevin the Talley Whacker turns down Playgirl. So I'm just looking for clickbait. That's what I need.
I hear you. Yeah.
So whoever
Playgirl Magazine's Man of the Year now shoots models. Now shoots Playboy, which has nothing to do with Playgirl, by the way. There's 2 totally different publishers.
Yeah. But good.
Do with Playgirl.
It was a good play on words.
It was
smart.
Yeah. I think when I did it, it was a company called Blue Horizon Media who ran the magazine at the time, and I remember there was a country singer that was on the cover of the one before my centerfold, because I remember I was in the back of that one, and it says coming next month.
All right.
And I remember I went to my local bookstore, and it was at 8 p.m. at night. They're going to close in an hour, and here's this guy, me, come running to the bookstore, buy every Playgirl on the shelf that I could get. I left like 2 just so I could, so in case someone else wanted to go buy one.
Yeah.
The next day, I was on our local news channel, and they put me on like on TV. They want my mom to call in at the time and say, so what'd you think?
So proud.
I'm like, at the time I was almost 30 years old. Like, I don't really need my mom,
Yeah.
calling in and saying, well, it's different than when it was when I wiped his bottom as a baby,
I mean, what do you add to that? Yeah.
You can't really, yeah. But then I did not know after the fact that they put me in a couple of their calendars, a couple of their greatest hits magazine kind of thing. I think they pretty much put some of their Playgirl magazines, Man of the Year people in other magazines to try to sell stuff and whatnot.
Sure.
But once you sign your name, that dotted line, if you don't read it, the fine print, you're going to find out they're going to use your pictures however they want to use them.
And I was going to say, you could now use your experiences with that to kind of talk to the other models. I know, let me try and think of the politically correct way to say all this. There's a very famous actor that my daughter worked for who had modeling shots when he was young, like in his teens, and he didn't want them out there. So he bought the rights back from the photographer. And her job was to literally scour the internet for hours looking for people using these photos. And then she would send out on his behalf the cease and desist letters from the lawyers
Right.
to get people to take those photos. And they weren't nudes or anything. They were just photos he didn't like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, like you're spending time and money and energy to take photos down from 20 years ago. We were just talking about Madonna this morning, my wife and I. And, you go back to Madonna days when she did modeling and then she became famous afterwards. And then those nude photos ended up in Penthouse, I think, or Playboy. I think it was
Wow.
Penthouse.
Yeah.
And she didn't want, Vanessa Williams, Miss America.
Yep. Got dethroned because of it.
Yeah.
But you look at some of the other people. Look at Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah.
She was in it for numerous times. She was Playmate of the Year, and makes a hell of a living for herself. She wrote a book about her son with autism, and I think she does very well. So it's not like you can look at it as porn. You can look at it as, I think for me it was just a wild time. I went through a bad divorce, and it just kind of hurt me emotionally and mentally. And I just said, I'm just going to do this. What the hell? I had no clue they're going to call me and say, yeah, we'd like to have you in the magazine. And I had no idea the photographer's going to call me the same night, talk about my flight and make it all happen. I had no clue none of that's going to happen until next thing you know, whirlwind, boom, I was there. When they gave me a date, I swear to God, I was in the gym every day. I was doing cardio on the elliptical trainer 40 minutes twice a day. I went from about 205 to about 195.
Yeah.
Now I'm almost 6'4", so 195 is a little bit on the thin side, but I felt my energy felt wonderful. But I quit lifting weights probably about 2 weeks prior, because you don't want to keep on lifting weights and taking muscle down. You wanted to lose that excess water fat and just some of that body fat. So twice a day, about 40 minutes each time, I was doing elliptical trainer, just like sprint intervals, going as fast as I can and slowing down, fast as I can and slowing down. And that's what I did. And when I moved to Miami to get in shape, they want me to lose about 10 pounds. And same thing, I just go in my condo. They had a big gym. They had a spinning bike, and I would just hop on that for 30 minutes at a time, and sometimes more than once a day, and just do spinning. Where you hop up on the bike, go as fast as you can, slow it down. Fast as you can, slow it down.
Is that stuff you talk to are the girls that you shoot now looking to get to that LA, New York, Miami model, or is it something they want to do locally?
They can do it locally. A lot of them, there's so much influencer stuff now that you can do online, but at the same time, you won't get the kind of exposure you will as you would with an agency that gets the big jobs. And in order to do the big jobs, you got to go to the big cities, unfortunately. I think in Louisville, I will say the biggest job I've ever gotten as a model myself was with Lexmark. It was a $4,000 job, the most I've ever made in Louisville. And then it ended up going worldwide. So then the agency ended up paying us out another $2,000. I was like, wow, when did this come from? I could just check in the mail. I called him and said, oh yeah, they went worldwide. So this is what you get. I went, holy crap. I had no idea. I'll take $2,000. Yeah. But so you want to go to like bigger cities. One of my bigger jobs was JCPenney Latin America in the mid 2000s. It was a 4-day gig. It paid $11,500, but then your agency gets 20%. You got to pay 30% Uncle Sam. And I had Sunglass Hut was like $8,000 for a 1-day gig. There's a bunch of this. Even like stuff you would never even know models do, like for Kellogg's. We were at a beautiful home in Brickell. It's almost like in this foresty area, this beautiful home. It was on the executive's house for Kellogg's. That let us use the house for the shoot. And it was $1,000 for the day. And all we did is sit in this house all day. They took a picture of us eating like Kellogg products. And the whole thing was just for their internal use of like, folders, like here's our dimensions, here's our graph of what we want to sell next year. It's just so you'll see like the model eating the Kellogg bar, and that was us. And so it's jobs like that you would never even hear of. We did stuff for ITT Tech, the college, way when it used to be a big national college, and it was from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and I was like the second shift, so we had to sit for 6 hours and do nothing, but we got paid for it. But then from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. we had to work, and everyone's like so ready to fall asleep. And that was a $600 job. That was it. So we made $600 for 12 hours of work. Yeah.
Of shitty hours.
And other
too.
days you work, you make $8,000 depending on what you do, So that's what a lot of models don't get. And it's like, you have to know the ins and outs. And that's why I try to teach a lot of these kids, because a lot of them just think they're going to stand there and pose and get the picture taken while they're in their underwear. It's like, no, you don't need to be in your underwear in every picture. You need to have high fashion shots. You need to have shots where you're even holding product, not necessarily a water bottle, but if you had like a purse on your shoulder, or you're kind of looking at your friend this way, you want to do some urban shots, some studio shots, some swimsuit shots. I mean, it's all going to matter for their portfolio if they want to get somewhere. And you got to get the attention of the right people, and that's going to be the agency directors and whatnot. So when I submit these photos, I go directly to the directors or the agents and say, hey, hey, Pete, I got this great new model. Here you go. And they'll usually, oh, hey, thanks. Does she have any digitals or video? And digitals are basically like, if you had a Polaroid camera back in my day, they literally had a Polaroid camera, and you would wear like, for a guy, you wear like swim shorts or just your underwear, and they put you against a white wall, and you do like very generic poses.
You're just standing,
and they just have you stand there. Now they still use professional cameras now, but it's just no makeup for the girl, hair is kind of pulled back, and they usually want the younger girls, even in swimsuits or slim fitting outfit like a tank or a workout top. They want to see if the model has tattoos, piercings, scars, cellulite, whatever. They want to see what you look like. And one of the models that followed my every single thing I told her to do is Savannah. She's signed out to Elite Models in Los Angeles right now. And she's actually flying back home this month for 2 weeks. But when she first went out to LA, she went out there to meet with other agencies. And when she went to Elite, she called me afterwards. I said, well, how'd it go? And she says, I think they hated me. They said, get rid of your extensions, get rid of your fake nails. And I'm like, sweetheart, this is Elite Models. Like, they didn't say no, did they? They said no. And well, Pete, she ended up getting signed with Elite Models. But what they wanted her to do is put her hair back to natural, get rid of the fake lashes, quit painting and putting these 4-inch nails on, and, and get the right photos done, and so it's like, and now she's with Elite. So she's had a job with Disney. She was doing some of their apparel clothing for their Disney shops. So it's like, and what's so funny, if you saw her photos that I take, she looks nothing like what you see in their Disney pictures. She's all wholesome and like, hi, I'm Savannah, look at my clothes.
Well, and I think I always look at it and go, that's when I see people in the Midwest or outside of the big markets, and they're trying to portray how they think they should look, whether it's the nails, the lashes, the makeup, and the contouring makeup, and all that, and the model agencies do not want that. They want to see what you really look like.
Yeah, they do, and
because they can add their own flavor.
Exactly, because every agent's going to know what a makeup artist is capable of.
Yeah.
If you have too many tattoos in certain places, well, we can Photoshop this out, or the makeup person can cover that up, or, how do you walk? And that's the part they also want to see video. So I usually have the model wear the same thing they're wearing their digitals for and walk to and from the camera twice. And they do it's basically like the swimsuit Victoria's Secret walk.
Yeah.
They do foot in front of the foot, and they do the turn and that kind of thing. They do it twice to the camera and whatnot, and that's what they do. Sorry, my dog's back there.
It happens.
She's got a collapsed trachea, so she'll do that. But so yeah, and they want to see digitals in video, and I will also tell you this: a lot of the agencies will also ask, I want to see their social media.
Yeah.
And if a lot of these girls will post stuff, I did right before I got on the line with you, I was talking to a girl, and she says, what do I need to do to submit these castings you're putting up? And I said, sweetheart, a lot of the pictures you're putting up there are very OnlyFans looking, if you know what I mean. She says, yeah, I know what you mean. And I said, no agent's going to want that. They're going to look at your social media and say, no, thanks. And so, well, what kind of pictures do I need then? I said, swimsuit's fine, but you don't want to be in a certain pose that looks like you're trying to put it out there to the world. And a lot of agencies, if you even have OnlyFans on your link these girls do, they won't even represent you. Yep. I mean, they don't want the girl who does porn also doing acting or
or representing Disney
the product, right?
Yeah.
So that's what happens, and unfortunately, a lot of these girls are making bank with OnlyFans because they know they can do it, and they got the bodies and the looks to get away with it, and more power to it. That's what they want to do. But that shit's going to be out there forever. And it's not modeling. It's just
I have one past guest, and she has an OnlyFans, but she doesn't do nudes. She
Right.
does suggestive, very sexy photos
Yeah.
and stuff, but no nudes. And yet she's making really good money with her subscriptions.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Sorry.
crazy. No, it's all good.
My nanny just walked right across our window over here with our little one, and now the dog's going nuts.
That's exactly. And when my wife comes home and our dog, he's a French bulldog. This is all I get. Ruff. That's it.
Let me out. Let me out.
He's like, ruff. Okay.
Yeah, Stella's my soul dog. She's my Great Dane. Her and I have already been through a lot together. She almost died the first year we had her. We got her spayed at a year in, and then she almost died from that.
Wow.
They had to do emergency surgery on her.
That's all good.
Yeah, and they had 3/4 of her blood mass was in her abdomen because
there she is.
Fell out. There she is. Stella, come here. Come here.
What's up, big girl?
Look at that. Yeah,
big guard dog.
She's my soul dog.
What's up, Stella?
She's not quite a guard dog, but yeah.
There's the guard dog that was right behind her.
Oh yeah, this one likes to be held 24/7.
Yeah, that's the guard dog.
Yeah. She definitely rules the roost.
Yeah. So it's not my size.
12 years, and Stella's 5 years old. But my wife and I, we adopted a baby when she was born. Now she's almost 3 years old.
Nice.
So for me to do this all over again at almost age 50, hence the reason we have a nanny.
No comment. I would not do it all. I'm super happy. I can't wait to be a granddad, but nope.
I'll tell you this. I fought it tooth and nail. We did in vitro and all that kind of stuff first. It never worked. Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, don't do in vitro unless you have a very solid relationship, because it will put you through hell and back. I mean, your wife and you become very hormonal with all the crap you got to take to put in your body to try to make this stuff work. But being a dad at this age, I flipping love it. Now that she's here, and I mean, I absolutely love being a dad at this age. I never thought I'd say that, but
yeah. Well, like I said, I can't wait to be a granddad, but no.
But yeah, you get to give them back. Ours stays with us.
That's right.
But I don't mind it. Yeah.
No.
Once you go that direction, you're just like, wow, I didn't know it was this good. Like, I didn't know I could do this all over again. I didn't know I was capable of,
I feel that way about I'm on my second marriage too. So I feel about that way about my second marriage.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I was single for about 14 years almost until I met my current wife. It's like I'm going to have another one after that, Not yet.
No comment.
No comment. Yeah, let's not. No, we've been together. We met in November 2013 and been together ever since. Got married in 16.
I think we met in July of 14. Yeah, that sounds right. Maybe 13. I don't remember. It was a while ago.
I know. It's like how your life is in sections. You always break it up from like life events. Like, oh yeah, I remember when I was married that time, or my mother passed away at this date. It was before or after that, and you always
the big moments.
Those are like your life markers,
I know my oldest turns 29 this year, and I go, you're gonna be like a year away from 30. I'm like,
I think when I was 47 is when in the 50 was knocking on my door.
Yeah.
And I remember it's like, God bless, like I'm gonna be 50. Like, holy fuck, what am I gonna do? Like, this is,
what I started
having anxiety attacks at age 47. I really did. I was like, I'm gonna be 50, And now I'm just like 6 or not even 6 months, a little more than 6 months away from it. December 2nd is my birthday, and I'll be 50. But it doesn't even bother me anymore.
Yeah.
You're gonna get old one day. One day.
We just got back from Hawaii, my wife and I we were looking around, and I'm like, at what age do we become those people? Because we're looking at some 70-year-olds and 60-year-olds, and I'm like, well, turn 55, and it's like
15 years, I'll be 60.
When do I turn? When do I become the old person that younger people look at and go, oh, fucking coming, man?
Well, I quit coloring my hair. I let it go natural. I did darken it a couple times, and it looked fake as hell. I was like, you know what? My wife liked the gray, so
my wife likes the gray too.
Don't you dig it?
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I've earned it.
She likes scruffs, and now my scruff is all coming in gray, except for a little bit here. It's kind of dark, but the rest of it's gray.
My
And
wife said, goes, I like the way the scruff looks. She goes, but if
yeah.
you ever want to kiss me, you got to shave it. I'm like, all right.
Now, see, she likes the scruff. She likes kissing the scruff.
Yeah, see, my wife, not so much.
Yeah. Well, I exfoliated her face before, then she got
Yeah,
used. Then now
exactly.
she's like immune to it.
Exactly. So,
But yeah, go ahead.
well, I was going to say, you got Billy McNamara coming in. You
Yes,
got
he talked about coming in. Yeah, we talked on the phone for about an hour last Saturday.
you got Diane
Uh,
Franklin. You got, I mean, like I said earlier, I think it's great that you're giving these models and people that want to model the idea of how to present, and I think that's where the actors come in, because it's not just about looking pretty. It's about how you carry yourself, and all that.
well, I'll tell you
But
what Tony Hudson
cool.
did. For your people who don't know who Tony Hudson is, she played in many, many movies, but her big 80s movie was called Just One of the Guys, where
Hmm.
she was the best friend of the main actress. And she wanted to be a newspaper reporter, and she didn't get they were high schoolers, and they're put to do an internship at the Sun Tribune in Chicago, and she didn't get the job because they thought she's this hot girl, and that's why she didn't get it. So they give it to two guys. So she decided to resubmit her stuff and dress up as a guy in a different high school. And so her best friend, Tony Hudson, was the girl in the movie. So Tony and I were talking at an actor's workshop, and we had about 10 girls here. And one of the things that she wants to do is get everybody to cry. And I was like, this is interesting, so
Yeah.
she had everyone sing happy birthday to somebody that meant something to them. Let me put my dog down here. And I remember Savannah had some difficulty with her mother. And I told her, I said, Savannah, I want you to sing happy birthday to your mom. And she's like, Kevin, look, So she
Yeah.
started doing it and got teary eyed. So she got her to this emotional state. So she's doing in acting. This is what Tony is saying. You got to be like, all of a sudden you're totally fine. And all of a sudden, oh my God, there's my husband in this car crash, and you got to turn these on like this in acting. She said she had to coach her son how to do this. So she wanted to coach each one of these girls how to bring out the emotions in your acting. So during the actors workshop, she wanted certain portions of it where you are totally like in tears. So I had this one girl, her name is Logan. And I had Tony play her mom. Now it's like just complete, like you see my studio behind me.
Yeah.
I had laid out this 2 chairs, and Logan, so the scenario was I would go in and whisper in each person's ear. I said, this is what we're going to do. So no one knew what the person was going to portray in acting. So I went to Logan. I said, Tony's your mom. She is an alcoholic, and you are studying, you're a college student, and she's just pulling up from the bar outside, and she's drunk. And she's okay. So she has to come up with the whole scenario, what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
So I go to Tony. I say, okay, Tony, I said, you are an alcoholic. You're pulling up in the driveway from the bar, and your daughter is studying inside for school. She's okay. So Tony, like, she's sitting in the car. She gets this water bottle, and she's sitting like this, and she's like kind of like leaning in the car. And so Logan comes out, and she's beating on the window, mom, and she's like, what? Not you again. She's roll down the window. No, roll down the window. It's Tony acts like she's rolling down the window, right? And she's got this water bottle, act like she's drinking alcohol. And she's, I'm inside. Where you been at? She's, I'm at the bar. Who are you with? She says, I was at people with bar people. She's like, act like she's drunk. So she grabs the water bottle and throws it, and it goes all over Tony. And this was not, pre-rehearsed. So Tony just acts the part. There's some alcohol on her leg, and she starts licking her own leg. Like she's that much of an alcoholic, trying to lick the alcohol off her leg. And then she says, I'm in here trying to study, and you're doing this and that. And she's like crying this whole scene. I was like, holy shit, like this is really cool, So they did this whole thing with all the other actors, and not everyone's able to do it, but I remember this scene the best, how she really got into this whole mom thing.
Yeah.
And she did this, she's in my studio on 3 occasions. The 2 of the occasions we did the workshop. And it was just the coolest thing ever. And then I had Catherine Mary Stewart in town. And Kathy Mary Stewart, Kathy, she was Night of the Comet. She played Days of Our Lives. My favorite movie, one of the 80s, The Last Starfighter, Weekend at Bernie's. And she was like my crush, So here she is in my studio, and I'll never forget this. If you remember the movie Last Starfighter, Pete.
Yep.
Okay, so you remember the scene where he's playing the video game and she comes back from the drive-in. The guy this brings her, drops her off at night, and he's like, "Oh, Jake's just going your way, you know." And she said, "I came back home to you, Alex." Gives us a smile. So I said, "Okay, Kathy, Catherine, give me a smile," and I'm taking her picture. She puts on that same smile, and I swear to God, I had goosebumps from it. And I said, "You are actually in my studio right now. Like this is like unreal." But it wasn't like just because I had a crush on her. It's like because like a portion of my childhood
That's
is
right
right
there.
here in front of me. And it was like so humbling and so heartwarming. I loved it. Like we went out to dinner that night and we went to Ruth Chris Steakhouse, right?
Nice.
And she was going to pay for it. She, "I want you put this whole thing together, Kevin. Let me buy you and Brittany, my wife, dinner." So we're about 20 minutes away from in a dinner, and she's talking to the waitress, and my wife looks at me and she like slides this credit card over. She says, "Pay for it." I was like, "Are you sure?" She goes, "Pay for it."
Yeah.
Said, okay. So I was like, so I gave it to the waitress and I said, "She's gonna want to pay for it. Don't let her. You take it from us." She's okay, you know. So Kathy says, "Yeah, we'll go ahead and take our, our ticket," or about 20 minutes later, she comes back and she lays it out in front of me. It's already been scanned, all that kind of stuff. And Kathy starts putting her hand on the card. She says, No, let me get this." I said, "Oh, it's okay. We paid for it." She says, "You fucking asshole. I told you I was going to pay for it." And I was like, "Here's my crush. Call me a fucking asshole. I love it."
Like,
and I said, "She made me do it," So yeah, she ended up buying us pizza the next day. It was
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It works out.
It worked out. We had pizza. Yeah, but it was so cool to have her. And she did the same thing. She did a whole different type of acting workshop. It was just everyone's going to do it differently,
Sure.
So I got to play in this one quite a bit. I got to play. My character was like a 50-something-year-old with a 41 Chevy at a card show outside Savannah, Georgia. So I started talking like this a little bit, and I had a bit of a slur because I had a few to drink, And I remember my lines were like, "You see, that's a 72 Corvette and it's a convertible. Can you believe he put 3 of his kids in a convertible and got in a car wreck?" And I was, so a lot of the models, Pete, what they would do is at acting workshop, they're reading script, right?
Yeah.
So they'd be like, "So one day I was at the workshop and I would do," it's like, no, you want to, you don't want to memorize everything, but at the same time, you want to try to get in there and go get your character. So it's like, I had some experience. So that's why I was trying to like show them what I was able to do. And I want you to do the same thing, like read your line, but then you don't have to read it verbatim. Just kind of go with it, get into character. Like, if I was a Southern guy, I'm going, "I'm Kevin. You don't get into it. You want to like read it." He's 50-something years old, 41 hot rod. This guy was driving a convertible Corvette, a 71. This guy over here drove this kind of Corvette. Can you believe he did that? And blah, blah, blah. So I was trying to get into character doing that. So I saw like, I even put a pillow under my stomach. So I was like, I was a little overweight. Like, "Oh yeah, I got a 41 Chevy. You want to try to race me out? There ain't no way." So I was trying to get into character doing that. And the other one was I had a, what was it? It had to do with a Down syndrome guy who got killed in a wheelchair, fell into a frozen lake, and they couldn't find his body. And how he went to this lady every day who would give him chocolate to help. And I had to like portray this, and like I had to say it like, "Yeah, so this is my little brother, so he used to go in town every single day, and he would do this and do that." And I had to and I actually made 2 girls in the thing cry on my story. I was like, yes. Like I looked over at Kathy. Kathy was like, "Kevin, that was good. That was good." I was like, so
yeah, I know.
You got to get into it. So now I got Diane Franklin, Better Off Dead, John Cusack. She played in Amityville Part 2. She was the sister who made out with her possessed brother and had sex with her possessed brother.
Talk about acting.
Yes. She played in The Last American Virgin. And I just had to watch it for the first time recently. And I was like, what a bitch. Like the very end of it, she broke that guy's heart. Like in the very end of the credits, he's driving his car and there's tears running down his eye. I was like, oh my God, but we talked on the phone about 3 different times now, and she's so cool. Her husband is, I might be pronouncing his name wrong. It's Ray De Los Santos. and he's a Hollywood screenwriter, and he's actually writing the new screenplay for the Ice Age movie for Disney.
Oh, cool.
And he was actually going to be here also and do a writer's workshop on the same weekend. And I finally had to tell her, I was like, I'm a one-man show. I cannot try to get 2 workshops on the same weekend for different genres, actors, writers. And I just, if we could do it different weekends, that'd be fantastic. She said, yeah, absolutely. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I was like, oh my God, thank you. Because I was stressed out, like anxiety and stress. So now we talked on the phone, and she's already wanted me to shoot pictures of how she looked in her various movies, like bring costumes and outfits and try to dress like she did and shoot pictures. And just, I cannot wait to do all that. I'm going to have a blast shooting her photos.
That's going to be awesome.
And then I got Cameron Matheson, who's like my twin. If you look at my face and you look at Cameron Matheson, everyone says I look just like him. And he even said, you can be brothers. Yeah, look him up real quick. And you guys see what he looks like, because everyone said I look just like him.
Cameron
Matheson.
Got it. Canadian actor.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I see it.
And everyone says, "Oh my God, you look just like him." And I've talked to Cameron Matheson on the phone. We still stay in touch on social media. Pretty much every other day we'll talk and just like, "Hey, dude, love the photo, blah, 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 whatever." And he'll like the stuff and comment on it. And he commented on a couple of my videos I've put up there.
General Hospital actor. Gotcha.
Yeah. He's also hosted ET, Entertainment Tonight. He's done that stuff quite a bit.
Nice. Yeah,
so he is wanting to come sometime. He's filming a Hallmark flick right now, so he couldn't. I was wanting to come in the summer. He can't do it in the summertime, so maybe early fall or even late summer. But like you said, Billy McNamara is planning on coming here. He says, "Hey, dude, I'm very busy right now." He sold a movie. He's going to turn it into a series, and it looks funny as hell. He sent me the trailer to it. It's
awesome,
Creek kind of thing. You saw the trailer.
We talked about it on my show too. Yeah.
Yes, I didn't know it was going to be as what it was. When I read the script, I thought it was not really a comedy, almost like a sad comedy. But then when I watched the trailer, I was like, oh my God, dude, it was flipping hilarious. He's jumping up and down on the trampoline naked, and the girls, he's like, I think it's growing. I mean, the whole thing.
You got Billy Baldwin in it. He's got Robert Wagner. He's got some good people in it too.
Well, that was hysterical. No, I'm not hysterical, but yeah, when I saw Wagner, I was like, oh my God, like heart to heart, and
dude, he goes. So
I can't wait to see it.
So what else do you have? I mean, how do you talk to your models that are local about, when they travel, when we talked about it beforehand, it's like it could be December and you're going to Miami to shoot a summer apparel line. It could be, whether it's bikinis, mini skirts, whatever, but it's, 60 degrees outside, and you have to portray yourself that it's 90, it's sunny, you're having a great day. That's all acting.
It is. I'll probably say one of the most interesting shoots I've done. I was shooting for Playboy Portugal, and we're using a form. We're not in Portugal. We're in Simpsonville, Kentucky, and it was. I'll tell you this: it was 43 degrees out. The wind chill was 27. Yeah. And it was. We're using a barn, a couple stalls, and we ended up doing the rest of the shoot because it's so cold. But even then, she was wearing Ugg boots and this very long pea coat, and soon she would throw it off within seconds. She had the purple veins everywhere. I was like, I cannot edit all this. We're going to go somewhere else and shoot. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of when there's new stuff coming out, it's a season. Like if they're shooting right now for fall, they're going to shoot in the wintertime previous for the fall coming up.
Yeah.
They're doing a Levi's denim jean fall thing, and that was being advertised for a January, February shoot to come out for their February stuff.
Absolutely. That's when we shoot.
For the fall stuff.
That's when we shoot our outerwear. We'll shoot January, February, and then we get into summer. It's weird.
Yeah. But a lot of the models that they have to travel somewhere. They're going to have to go to, if they're going to be a model at the big agency, they're going to have to go to where the agency's at. They're going to have to either move to Miami, Atlanta, New York, LA, and depend on your look. I mean, New York is very high fashion.
Yeah.
I had a girl that was, she was from San Antonio. She flew here to shoot with me from San Antonio. She was with Ford Models New York, Ford Models LA. She's 5'10" and a half. And she said there's girls taller than her that got more work because they were taller than she was. Yeah. She's like 5'10" and a half. But she was also with Premier out of London and Mannequin out of Singapore. And she said she did more work out of Singapore than she did anywhere else, sometimes 2 or 3 jobs a day.
Yep.
I was like, wow. Like I've always heard Asian markets use Americans quite a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah. And she said it's also the most cleanest city she's ever been in. If you went to buy gum, you have to show your passport that you're an American to buy bubble gum because they don't let their local people buy gum. They keep it that clean.
Well, that's what Japan's like. Japan is the cleanest city you'll ever visit. I mean, Tokyo, I should say.
Yeah.
It's the cleanest city you'll ever visit that has 39 million people in it. I mean, there's no trash cans, there's no trash, there's no littering. They just.
I've never been outside the countries for Cancun. I hate to say it, but
yeah, that's crazy.
I worked for Continental Airlines for 11 years with flight benefits, and I've been to LA, New York. I never went to Hawaii. I never went to like Europe, but I've been to Cancun like probably 12 times.
Well, Dita Von Teese had never been to Hawaii, and I'm like, you've literally been to almost every country in the world. I mean, for touring and traveling, and she'd never been to Hawaii.
Oh wow,
like, this never happened.
I would visit it for sure. Never been. I would love to see it one day before I get too much up in age, so I can still enjoy it. And yeah.
Yeah, I just went surfing a couple days ago. It's where was I? I was on Kauai.
I saw you interviewed Gabrielle Reese.
Gabby is now you should talk to if your models ever want to hear a story. So she was a scholarship athlete at Florida State for volleyball while she was modeling in New York. So she was flying on the weekends, on like Thursday or Friday. She would fly up to New York, shoot all weekend, fly home, and be back in school and practice on Monday.
Wow.
So it got to the point where she had to give up her scholarship so she could and she did that for free because when she's on scholarship, she couldn't have a paid job like that.
Right.
So she literally gave up her scholarship to pursue more of the modeling, but she was flying from Florida up to New York almost every weekend.
What's her husband's name, the surfer?
Laird Hamilton.
Laird, that's right. Yeah. I remember I first saw him in the movie North Shore.
That guy's a beast.
Yeah. You ever see North Shore back in the 80s?
I probably did, but
it was a big surfer flick. But he played Lance Burkhart in the movie, and pretty much the same kind of name he's really got, But I've watched him on Joe Rogan talked about him and said, dude, like you said, he is a beast. Like the stuff that he does,
a literal beast. She talks on the episode about he was going to paddleboard from one island to another island, and then the fog came in. This is before GPS and all that. So he was like, okay, there's the island. I'm going to paddle to it. Well, the clouds came in and literally hid the island from him. So he's now paddling. And when the clouds lifted, there was no more island to look at.
Wow.
He was literally in the middle of the ocean.
Like you'd figure either some type of a whale, some type of a shark would jump up and
Yeah, so he fired off his EPIRB, and thankfully a boat came by.
Oh wow!
But I mean,
I was going to interview. I can't remember the girl's name. Ocean Ramsey. She is a oceanographer and model, and she swam with the great white, the big one.
Gotcha.
She was on National Geographic, and she's a beautiful girl. And we never could make our schedules work together. I was supposed to interview her back in November, and it never worked out. But you watch her videos, how she swims with sharks, not just like with a cage, like open swim. Like, how in the hell? No. But I guess if you really know the beast, then you know what they're looking for. And I don't think humans are really their main targets. But
I just had that talk. Santa Monica, the Malibu Bay, the Santa Monica Bay that we live in, is a great white breeding ground. So
but then they all go south, don't they? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so they eat down south, but they breed in this bay. So all the baby shark, great whites, are all in this area. But there's so much other food for them to actually eat that they don't bite humans. That's why you don't hear about shark attacks here. But I mean, you look at Malibu, Santa Monica, Venice. That's all great white shark breeding ground.
Oh yeah, now they're all going east coast, and people are getting attacked in Florida all the time with great whites, and even up to like Amityville, where the Jaws
in New York,
Long Island. I think they actually had an issue not too long ago, wasn't it? Like years ago, it was a great white in the fresh water, or
it was like the Jaws. That's all rehashing Jaws. Cool.
Yeah. Also, when I lived in Miami, I was a model with Elite and Wilhelmina there. Oh my God, the beach was beautiful. I remember I was in the water and I was swimming in the water and I didn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
And I remember I had gotten to the ocean or to the beach one morning early before the city crew comes in. They clean all the seaweed off the big brush, like a street cleaner almost. And I walked up. You could see from one and the other man o' war jellyfish everywhere, like the purple ones. And then if you step on those, it's a hospital visit. It's not like the clear ones, the purple ones, the ones you want to watch out for. And I said, that many is in the water? Like, are you flipping
everywhere? Yeah.
me? And ever since then, I quit getting in the water. Now, I'll tell you this story. He was a model from Germany. If you look at Nautica, and I can't remember, it's one of the, I can't remember which one, maybe Nautica Blue or something like this. Okay. He is the main guy on all the advertisements. He's on the windsurfer, where he's on the surfboard with the wind sail on him. He got stung twice by jellyfish in the water while he was doing that shoot, and had to go to the hospital once, and even had to give him he had a fever the next day. I'm surprised they let him on the plane because he was sweating profusely. But I mean, from Bahamas where they're shooting at to there was only like less than an hour flight.
Yeah,
but he was sick as a dog when he got back. He got jelly stung twice on the same place on the next day. I mean,
dude, that's just bad.
Oh, because he fell off in the water multiple times and he got stung.
Yeah, but when I went surfing up a Halama Point, which is right above Point Concepcion, and they were clear. All the little, I don't know what the box, the small jellyfish, thousands of them all along they got washed up in the high tide, and then the tide went out. Thousands of them, and you're like, okay, now I got to go swimming.
I'll stay out of the water. I'll get a swimming pool. I would. That's why. Every time I was at the condo, I'd always get the pool, and I'd say, "Why don't you go? I'll lay out on the beach or something like that." And whatnot. Yeah. I will not. I'll maybe go knee deep in the water. I'm still looking around, okay, make sure there's no jellyfish, but half of them you can't even see anyway.
Dude, I haven't shared. It was a week and a half ago. We went swimming at night on the Big Island with manta rays.
I heard that, so it's a cool experience, but
they have no teeth. They don't bite. They have no teeth, so they eat plankton, and they don't have a stinger, so they have nothing to fend off. They're huge, so you basically float on these surfboards with lights going down, and the plankton get drawn up by the lights, and this is at night. So this one comes by. They call her Amanda. They named them all because it's just this one bay. Amanda is 16 feet across.
Wow, I don't think you get that.
So this thing just comes up and just has no fear, and it was literally closer. Sometimes it would rub up on you. You're not supposed to touch them, so you can't physically go out and touch them and dig up. But if they touch you, it's okay, but just don't go out of your way. So this thing just glides, and there's 4 of them that we saw just rotating around.
That kind of freak you out a little bit. See something like that big come up next to you.
Something that big, yeah.
I'll tell you a quick little story. I was in Miami. We had a tropical storm come up, and we lost a good portion of the beach because it eroded out in the water, right? So we could walk 100 feet plus out in the water, more than that, and you're maybe just 5 deep because it pulled that much sand off the beach and just pulled it out. But we get these huge conch shells out of the water. I had 4 or 5 of them in my arm. Oh my God, this is awesome. Yeah. With my peripheral vision, I looked over back at the beach. I was a good distance away, and I saw a huge fin in the water. Yeah. And I literally went,
out.
Shell, and I feel that the stings shuffle, the stingray shuffle. I was doing the great white, I was stomping in the water as fast as I get to that beach. And that is the main reason I will never get back in the beach again. I mean, I don't know if it was a great white, but it was a good sized shark and it was between me and the beach.
It's probably just a tiger or bull shark. You're fine.
Dude, yeah. A couple bites, lose a limb, gnaw on your shin for a while.
You'll be fine.
You'll be all right. Yeah. Get that femoral artery.
I've gone out and caught mako sharks within eyesight of Laguna Beach.
Really?
So yeah, I mean, you're catching a 6-foot shark. And then you're looking at
pretty violent, aren't they, toward humans?
Yeah, they can be, and they jump. The makos are the ones that'll jump out of the when they're hooked, they jump.
I'll
Oh,
pass.
it was a trip.
I get
Yeah.
all my fish from Costco.
Well, you're in Louisville. I mean, you can catch some
That's
catfish or
true.
bass or something.
Well, we have a place called Bluefin that pulls stuff in for all the restaurants.
Yeah.
And there's we all our seafood from. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
There's some nasty catfish that'll clomp on you.
Okay, I call it the beach. It's not a beach. It's the Ohio River here in town, but it looks like a beach.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
brought the model down there the other day, and there's this guy sitting with a 5-gallon bucket, and he had the biggest flipping catfish in this
really?
bucket, and one on the ground still like puffing its mouth. I'm like, you caught that in this river? I was like, I knew they're catfish, but I mean,
Yeah.
it had been at least 3+ feet long. And I was like, it was a big ass catfish. And he goes, oh yeah, we eat these every week. And I was like, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess all these Catholic, schools, they have their little fish fries, got to get them somewhere, That's Costco.
Dude, they catch a lot of stuff off the pier here, and I won't eat it. I'm just, no.
No,
Not when it's
sometimes,
not
I
this
don't know
close.
why. When you see it yourself, you're like, my wife and I grow our own vegetables out in our garden.
Yeah.
But I also see like all the ants and rodent and squirrels, chipmunks, and
Everything.
moles. And I was like, once I get the vegetables out of the garden, like, oh, like I saw what was in there. I don't want to eat it, But I'll go to Kroger, Walmart, and buy my squash and zucchini. I had no problem eating it there,
Totally different. Yeah. Yeah, they left our jalapeno plant alone this last summer. We got like 100 jalapenos out of it. It's awesome.
You like LA now? I know. So one of my models that live out there, she said, like, she mentioned the homeless thing, and she said, Kevin, it's effing crazy. Like everywhere you go, you'll see homeless camps everywhere. Even like some of the nicer beaches where they try to clean them up. I know they cleaned Venice up, and then it's back again already. Yeah.
Well, they cleaned up Venice. Well, they did it twice. The sheriff, Villanueva, was like, hey, this is ridiculous. And the sheriff department runs the parks. Yep. And so he basically cleared off Venice Beach. But what he did is he took them all and just pushed them into the city areas. And so now you have encampments on the streets.
Right.
And so there are literally streets and sidewalks you can't walk down anymore.
Wow.
So, I mean, no one's taking care of the issue. They're just pushing it to a different city, different area. That's all they're doing.
I'll stay in the Midwest. I like it.
Yeah.
Kentucky's not really Midwest. It's just kind of.
Kentucky's not the South though either. It's too north.
No, we're right next to it. We border Virginia, but Virginia goes right in the ocean. We, Tennessee is south. Indiana, Louisville, it just borders Indiana. We're right by. We drive to Indiana in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Then you've got
right across the river.
Cincinnati is an hour away. St. Louis, Missouri is 4 hours away. I think we touch 7 states, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends that live in Nashville or Knoxville, and he sells kind of what I do, and he can't go into Alabama and Georgia because he's considered a northerner.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
I'm like, you're in Tennessee. He goes, yep.
Yeah, we're not north. We're just kind of middle, I guess.
Yeah, you're centralized of everything.
A lot of people call us Hicks.
No,
I don't have the Hick voice myself. It's funny, when I was a kid, my sister, I was probably 11, 12 years old, and she was going to the military, and she went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina for boot camp. And we had sent her audio cassettes to say hi to her and send.
Yeah.
Back then, you call on the phone, but you didn't have like cell phones or whatnot.
It was expensive.
I remember years later, I played this cassette back, and oh my God, Pete, I was like, "Hey, Lori, it's Kevin, your brother." I was like, "Oh my God, is that what I freaking sound like?"
Yeah.
So I did everything in my power to neutralize my voice and not talk like that, and just. I was always good at changing accent. I did voiceover. I was in California, KTLA. I did some stuff for them, and they basically paid me like $500 and sat in a room. I had to say KTLA, and now KTLA, and I had to say it like 100 different ways.
Yeah.
I did British accents for travel agencies, mostly for LA travel agency companies, or British and English travel agencies that are located. They try to pull people into LA. That kind of thing. Hello, we'd like to welcome you and your family. Blah 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 blah. And
that's crazy.
We had to learn accents and like that, and it's not just the accent. You have to learn the lingo.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's part of acting. That's the best part. It's like if you can get into character, and like the whole, the Savannah, Georgia thing, like we were talking earlier about
Tombstone.
Val Kilmer playing, because his character was Savannah, Georgia. That's where Doc Holliday came from.
Yeah.
So if you kind of talk with, you elongate your words a little bit, and you learn how to talk with the lingo, you elongate it. And just like
I thought you were going to go into Johnny Ringo.
Johnny Ringo. Why Johnny Ringo? Yeah. But then you have, like, in the same scenario, you got Hannibal Lecter. Hello, Clarice. He elongates his words. He's nasally. He's high. He gets low, and Agent Stalin of the FBI. It's like he's
That's awesome.
So if you can get into character when you're acting, and that's the whole part. I try to teach these models. It's like when you get into a character, you become that character.
Sure.
And if you want a part, it's like if I did a video recently about the workshops I'm doing. It's like these models just went, well, I don't want to know if I want to get into model or acting. I just want to kind of model. It's like, What part do you think you're not going to be in a TV commercial? I'll give you a great example. I had there's a African-American couple that started the first African-American distillery, bourbon distillery. And they asked to use two of my models, and they've used a light-skinned black girl and a white guy. Neither one of them had acting experience, but they're my models, right? So after they did the job, I asked, Eric was the guy, the owner of the distillery. I said, hey, how'd it go? And he talks like this a little bit, kind of a Southern guy. He goes, Kevin, I'll be honest with you, they did pretty bad. And I was like, oh my God. He says, yeah, they didn't really know what the hell they're doing. We're trying to film this and that. They couldn't seem to how to do the thing we're asking them to do. And I felt awful. And here I am offering these workshops. And I said, this is why I do these workshops. Yeah. Because it's like stuff like this. Like, you're not going to just stand there and hold product all day and get your picture done. Yeah. It's like there's more to it. I remember when I was in Miami, I did Just for Men, the hair color thing. Now, back then I didn't have gray, but I would do it all the time just to get the experience of doing it. Yeah. And we had to read lines over it. And we, one of the things we did, I think I mentioned this to you for ITT Tech. Yeah. So they're doing a criminal justice program. And one of the things we had to do is we had to put on for a casting show, or for the casting department, or the casting crew, whatever, to put on like a little thing to try to get us so we get the job. And so there's probably 20 people trying to get the same job as the lead actors, and then they had like the backup dancers, I always called them, like the behind the scene people, like they're like the classroom people. So the scenario was, it was kind of funny because everyone was doing very cliche stuff, like they're cops. Okay, Danto, go over there, Pete, and get some information from the person. So we're trying to think. We're like three people or three groups behind. We're like, okay, we got to think of something. There was like 5 of us in our group, and I said, okay, here's the thing. Let's act like I'm a sheriff, you're FBI, and we're and this guy's Dade County, right? So here's the border, and we're standing the border. And we find a clown. Don't ask me how this came out. A clown, and he's dead, and he's on the line. He's on the borderline of Broward and Dade County. Yeah. So and we have to argue about it. So that was and we just played off. So we're standing there in front of this cast people that wanted to hire a crew or models and actors to do this stuff. So we put on this whole gig of how I'm like the Broward County Sheriff going, this clown is on your stuff, and the FBI agent's like, hey, I'm just the referee here, whatever. And we're playing this whole part. And I said, oh my God, look, there's a whale. And I kicked the clown over to the other side of the Dade County line. I said, see, he's on your side, buddy. And anyway, long story short, I'm not playing character right now, obviously, but we got the part because we did this whole thing we made up of the skit that we did of trying to be funny. And the part we ended up getting had nothing to do with being funny, or we didn't even have a big speaking role. And we did some stuff for a couple of resorts, and we're back there mimicking the words. We weren't speaking the words. We had to act like we're talking. And the thing they'd have us say is, I hate to eat watermelon, but I do love watermelon. I love to eat watermelon, but I love it because they want your lips to look like you're not saying the same thing over and over. Yeah. Or like you're just going, so what do you want to say now? Should you say something? They want you to like talk. and behind the scenes. These are different resorts that you do. So you see like sandals resorts, and you're like pointing at different stuff, and
Yeah.
And I'll give another scenario. Me and the guy who got stung by the stingray. We were going to do a resort. It was like a sandals resorts kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was for gay couples, and we're not gay, but we had to act like we were gay for the casting. We didn't get the part. I guess we didn't act gay enough. I don't know. But we didn't like dance together like romantically, but we're like arm in arm, like, oh, look at oh, hey honey, look over there. We're holding hands. The dancing, we're like just kind of like, hey, we're dancing with each other, but now we're not holding each other. But for the casting part of it, we had to act like we were gay.
Yeah.
In order to get the part. The part paid $7,000. The part also flew you to the resort. The part also let you stay in the resort. The part let you pay to eat all the food at the resort. So it's like there's a lot of perks to acting gay. There's parts other, and there's like Sunglass Hut. I think I told you this earlier. It was $8,000. All I had to do all day is put on glasses and go like, hey, hey, hey. And we spent 8 hours and even had lunch, and I made $8,000 just doing that. So it's like, but at the same time, they don't want the person just standing there. They want you to maybe.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's why I think those workshops. When I saw that, I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah, and no one does it in this region. You'll get modeling agencies that might have a casting person that might have worked with an actor 15 years ago, and they really don't know how to act. But they'll sit there and go, "Okay, read your line." Okay, now what I would recommend you doing is talk a little louder. When you see Tony Hudson or Kathy, like Tony would interrupt you. And she said, no, wait, go back to the line where you're doing this. Turn back around. Now, when you turn around, I don't want you to look at her like she's your friend, okay? She just fucked your boyfriend. I want you to cuss her ass out, okay? So she would get you like, okay, I need to get mad. I need to, okay, well, let's do this. So then she would turn around and she would put on this thing, and then she would get on the other girl. Okay, now wait, listen to how she's talking to you right now. I need you to sit down, but when you sit down, I want you to like, oh, shit, I got stuck here. Stand right back up. I want you to get angry back at her and like be defensive,
Yeah.
This is how acting workshop works. It's not like you're just going to read script all day. They want you to cry. They want you to laugh. They want you to get mad. They do goofy exercises too. Tony had everyone dance around. Tony, if you look her up, she also was on Dancing with the Stars for nearly 13 years, but she did all the behind the scenes stuff. She would be the one teaching the actors how to dance when the other dance people weren't in town, I guess. I don't know. I'll say this, I'll have to share the video with this to you. Tony Hudson can flip and sing like you would not believe. She had an album come out that she never publicly put out, gave me a copy of the CD of it. I was like, why is this not out? And she was having babies at the time and went through a divorce at the time, and she's never followed through with it. But she was in my studio. I just filmed it with my phone. My friend Misty was in her hair and makeup, and she was singing Rolling in the Deep by Adele. And I'm like, oh my God, like she was hitting the notes, and she started dancing with the scene where she's doing all that. And I was like, and she tried to teach me how to do some dancing with her, and she had the other models, actors dancing, and then you play off each other. Like if you, Pete, raise your right hand, I have to raise my left hand, and you do this, it gets you into a weird state of mind and character. Then all of a sudden it's like then you start reading the script and you start working off each other, and you realize this person is just as nervous as I am, or at least as I was when I first walked in the room, and now I'm not nervous, and now they're helping me read off my line. That's helpful. Yeah. So my whole thing is I want to bring that to this area. Louisville, Kentucky is where I'm at, Crestwood, and I try to bring something like these actors who people have heard of, but never thought they'd be in Louisville teaching a workshop. And try to get these models actual jobs and try to get them signed to big agencies. And me, I act as my own modeling agent. I try to get models work. If you go to my website, kevintalleyphoto.com, look at my advertisements. Every advertisement you see on there are my models that I've shot for these advertisements that I've gotten, work that I have gotten. You'll see a couple muscle protein for Forge Nutrition. She flew in all the way from Dallas, Texas to shoot with me for this stuff.
That's cool.
And it's kind of cool. She's holding this product. You think Forge Nutrition, you know, and she's this bodybuilder girl, and she's beautiful at the same time. She's still got very feminine features and everything. We put this black stuff all over her body. And she bought a welder's helmet, and we go outside. It's dark, and I put a beauty dish light right next to her, and it's a strobe, right? And she holds this product, and of course, it's a lot bigger than my coffee cup. It's like a protein can.
Yeah.
And we literally doused the whole top of it with a puddle of hairspray, and then we lit it on fire. So when you see the picture, you'll see it's on fire, and someone say, "Oh, did you Photoshop that?" Like, no, we literally lit it on fire. She had a smaller one, like a little pre-workout stuff, and it actually dripped down, and she threw it because it caught her. It dripped down, the fire got on her hand real fast. But stuff like that we did. So it's like there's people who will hire models, and if me as a photographer, if I get my work out there, for instance, on my website, you'll see Hidden Hills Watch Company. They're based out of Nova Scotia, Canada. I had seen their stuff. I sent them an email. I said, "Hey, would you ever be interested in me shooting some advertisements for you? Here's what I do." And they sent me like 10 watches. Let me keep them. They're like anywhere between $500 to $800 watches. And they said, if you want to resell them, do whatever you want with them, keep them, whatever. And I shot their advertisements for them, and they reused those ads, paid me for it, paid the models. And so I give the models the watches also, because I don't need that many watches. I kind of want to keep them. I kind of like watches, but stuff like that. So it's like any work I get as an agent, as a photographer, I try to give my models the same stuff.
Yeah.
And I keep it very boutique. You'll look, I maybe have like 50 models, not even 50 models on the website. And not all of them are local. A lot of them some of them are Dubai, some of them are Australia, some are in New York, some are in LA, some are in Tampa, Miami. And I've not shot all their photos. Some of them have flown in and shot photos with me.
Yeah.
But my goal is to like try to get these big models in, shoot their photos. I want to get them in my magazine. I started my own magazine during COVID. It's called Moda. It's I actually got trademarked. That was like kind of another big highlight. I got my Moda magazine trademarked. I'm reaching under my computer right now. I'm going to show you this. This right here is my launch. That was my first issue. That's Savannah on the cover, who's in LA. I shot the cover for it. And this girl, I did not shoot this. She's actually in Poland, I believe. She's the back cover girl. She submitted her stuff to it. And the whole thing was I want it to be like Maxim meets Vogue.
Yeah.
I want it to be like sexy, not sexual. I want to be bikini, but not like girls bent over in the water bikini. I want to look like Vogue bikini, you know?
Yeah.
And so everything, though, if you think about it, it all comes full circle back to my photography. I'm shooting the models. I'm shooting for my own magazine. I still shoot models for other magazines, of course. I just shot a girl the other day. She's going to be in Muscle and Fitness Hers and FHM magazine. FHM is For Him magazine. It came out around the same time Maxim did. Yeah. And it just, in America, Maxim took off because of Maxim girls, Maxim parties, Maxim model searches, but FHM was more international. And they're still in America also. But so I still shoot for those magazines as well. But and models come in, they want to be in Playboy, they want to be at FHM, Muscle Fitness, they shoot with me. And I'll submit the photos to it. And if they get picked, fantastic. They out there, then their followers see it, and then they come shoot with me again, or the new people. So it all comes full circle back to photography.
Here's the question I have for you.
Yeah.
And I've had to deal with it, and it was interesting because for a while I couldn't get women on my podcast. And I was like, I reached out to them the exact same way and all that. And then I talked to my daughter, who's turning 29. And so this, she was in her mid-20s at the time. And I go, I'm just having a hard time. Like, I feel like they think I'm, hitting on them or whatever. And I'm like, so she goes, Dad, I have creepers hit on, send me DMs all the time through Instagram and even on LinkedIn. And, there's a lot of creepers out there.
Yeah.
And I go, oh man, I don't think that way. And, so I was like, all right. So I kind of, it made me evaluate how I'm approaching people, because I don't want them thinking I'm just hitting on them.
Right.
Because that's what they get a lot of the times.
The way I do it is I'm not saying this in a boastful way at all. I let my work itself. Like if you go to my website or go to my Instagram, where I get over 90% of my work comes from my Instagram account. You look at my work, you can see what I do. You can see the people I shoot, that kind of thing. So if I contact them, it's usually if it's not direct message, you'll look at a lot of times the more popular models, or like big followers, you know, they have like over 1 million followers and whatnot. They'll actually have a contact button up there next to message, and it's usually their direct email. And I'll say, hey, Lisa, whatever, you know, my name's Kevin Talley. I'm a photographer and publisher of Moda magazine. I would love to feature you. And if you're ever in the Louisville area, I'd love to shoot your photos for the magazine, blah, 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 blah. And I'll send them screenshots of my
the work,
my not just my work, but also my Instagram, so they can see who I am and my website and know the magazine. And if they get back to me, great. They don't, you know?
Yeah. Because now that I've had, you know, I'm on, you're actually going to be guest 201. So it's a lot easier for me to now say, well, I've done Gabby Reese and I've done, you know, so it adds legitimacy. But I mean, at the beginning, it's like I didn't want to be that kind of creeper guy just trying to talk to the pretty girls and the models and all that.
You're number 201. You win a free oven mitt.
You get nothing, and you will like it.
No, I've never gotten the creeper factor. I try to keep it like, if they reach back to me, they do. If they do, they don't. I think the fact that I do have actors coming in and stuff like that. I'll give you a great example. I had a mom today she said she was in Indiana, about 20 minutes away, about 30 minutes away. And she says, hey, I saw your stuff on Facebook, not Instagram. And she says, what's your rates and blah, 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 blah. My daughter, who's a pageant girl, and she sent me a bunch of these pageant photos. I said, well, first off, she needs totally different photos. I said, pageant and modeling are two totally different things. Yeah. Agencies don't want to see girls with big hair, bunch of makeup and prom dresses, and they're all, you know, hi, whatever. It's totally different stuff. Yeah. And she asked for some examples. So I gave her some examples. I said, oh, hey, by the way, the 21st and 22nd, I have Diane Franklin coming to town. I said, you know, I get maybe 3 models a year. At least that's my goal. Because I just started doing this like 2 years ago. And I'm trying to get more models to come in. I said, this is my goal. And I said, it's a rare opportunity. It'd be great for her to come in and make it. She goes, oh my gosh, yes. And I said, now she's probably going to bring her daughter in. So it's a matter of getting it out there. And once they see who you're really bringing in and the legitimacy of your work. Like I got a picture of me and Kathy, I got a video of me and Kathy Mary Stewart walking to my friend's horse farm. And she says, howdy. You know, I said, Catherine Mary Stewart, I'm doing a video of my selfie. And I said, welcome to Hill Winds Farm. And she says, howdy. And she puts her head right here against my shoulder. And the guy, Charlie, who runs the farm work itself, he's from New Orleans. I said, there's Charlie over there. He's from New Orleans. And he talks like this. And so I started being silly with her. And I said, here, now we're doing selfies like this. And so I sent that video to people so they can kind of see that. And I got a video of me working with Toni Hudson, the actress. And I'm kind of interviewing her on a 52-second video. And so I send that to people too, so they can kind of see, you know, her stuff. And now I'm going to have Diane Franklin coming in. I think I told you off camera, what I want to do is have a Lincoln Navigator. I want her to be under it and put some grease on her face and her slide out, and like how John Cusack did on the Camaro in the movie Better Off Dead. Because I love stuff like that, like slapstick comedy kind of crap. I think it'd be fantastic if she would do it. I know she would, because we talked on the phone a few times, and she can hit numerous accents, not just the French thing, but she can totally nail it.
Well, it's kind of like you, right? I mean, it's a talent.
A practice is what I do. Yeah. My wife and I, we were in Kiel Island, and we were. It was funny. It was Labor Day weekend for a honeymoon, and it was no one on the beach at all. It was kind of windy, and we saw 2 older women walking a poodle, and they ended up being sisters. They were from England. And we said, oh, hello, you know, like that. And I heard their accent. And I said, it's great to see you all here too. Where are you all from? Like that. She's, oh, where are you from, love? I hear your accent, blah, blah, blah. And I started laughing. I could not pull it off no more. I said, well, originally I was from Sheffield. And I kept losing my thing, like my accent. And I started laughing. I said, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I can't do it. And she started laughing. She says, you sound just like the real thing. Like we can always point out when Americans try to fact their accents and blah, 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 blah. You know, but so if Pete, like there's I try to tell models when you're doing any kind of like accents and stuff like that, there's lower English, like I call it Harry Potter. Like it's 8 o'clock, it's getting a bit late, or oh Harry, you know, blah 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 blah. But then there's like, hello Pete, would you like to have some water with your drink, please? Of course I would. You know, it's like you're more sophisticated, more like, you know, more British than the heavy English. So you try to change your tone. You know, it's like,
well, it's like an American, right? I mean, you can have a
country versus New York,
in South Dakota and.
Yep.
You get the Fargo accent.
Sounding, yeah. My sister-in-law's from Canada. She's been in America for 30 years and she still sounds very Canadian.
Yeah, exactly.
one of my best friends from Rochester, New York, and he still sounds like he's from Rochester. He's been here for 30 years.
I got a friend, I have a lady I work with. She's from Boston, and she's been out here for at least 30 years, maybe 40. Probably 40 years, and she still has her Oz. So
Oh, yeah.
fourth quarter, and she
Fourth
has.
quarter.
I'm like, oh my god. I go. Are you speaking English? I always give her a hard time.
Like, no, he's from Boston. No, yeah.
Yeah. So,
When Diane Franklin's in town, if you like, I'll give you a voice call and you can say hi to her.
oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I would have to have my wife with me. So.
You got to yell at her, "Dude, where's my $2?" Now, of course, that didn't go to
Okay.
her, but that was John Cusack in the part. Remember the little boy he was the newspaper boy? Where's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
$2? And Booger was on that show. Remember him?
I do.
Yeah.
But he
He
was in
played Booger, but it was, yeah.
Police Academy, and he did a whole bunch of stuff.
He went in Police Academy. Booger wasn't.
No, not Booger.
He played Revenge of the Nerds.
Revenge of the Nerds. That's
And he's also the best friend of Tom Cruise on Risky Business.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Before he was ever Booger.
He was always like, I mean, he had to be in his 30s when they were shooting Better Off Dead, and they were supposed to be in high school.
He had to have been.
Yeah.
Just like Luke Perry, right?
Yeah, exactly. No comment.
All of
Yeah.
them.
I remember watching 90210, man. I'm like, because I'm the same age as those guys, you know. I mean, within a couple of years, either way. And I'm like, and I didn't know at the time in the 90s, there was no Google and all that. So I'm like, I wasn't that cool in high school. What the hell?
I know.
The all in their 20s.
Yeah. They had the cool sideburns, the cool Elvis swirls. And of course, everyone said Luke Perry was like the next James Dean, you know.
Yeah.
You remember, what was the other show? Melrose Place.
Melrose Place. We watched the entire series over COVID, my wife and I.
My wife and I did too. We did too. It was on Netflix or whatever it was. We watched it all.
Yeah. I think Hulu or Amazon or something.
Remember The Heights?
I do remember Jamie Walters.
Jamie Walters, How Do You Talk to an Angel? And
yeah.
He
played a scumbag with Donna, right?
Did.
Wasn't it with Tori Spelling?
And in real life now, he's a firefighter, an EMS guy.
Yeah.
He still sings. I always wonder why his career never took off as a singer, because he had a few big hits.
He's from what I understand, and Jamie, give me a call. We'll be on the show. He got a lot of bad press when he played the scumbag girl beater.
Yeah.
It was a little too close to home at the time.
I think it hurt his career. I think it did.
Yeah.
Like, people pigeonholed people in a lot of stuff. We talk about Jennifer Beals from Flashdance. I mean,
yeah.
She never got a very bigger part than that. She played other movies, and she played in The L Word. I've never seen The L Word, but it's on HBO. It's been a popular series, of course, but I've never seen it. But as far as big movies, I mean, Flashdance was 1981, and I don't think she's ever been in a big movie since then. That is one of Jerry Bruckheimer's first movies that he helped produce.
It's weird because I don't think I would ever want to be in. It's kind of like a Ed McCain, singer, songwriter.
Yes.
He's got the one big hit, and he goes. I traded I won the lottery. I go. I only won the lottery once. I'd love to win the lottery multiple times, and but still I felt I won the lottery. And so my next week's episode is 199. You're 201. Is with Gerardo.
No way.
So
wow.
What do you think Gerardo's doing now? Rico Suave.
Yeah. Oh, he did. Remember he played the movie Can't Buy Me Love.
Can't Buy Me Love. He was in Colors.
Darcy Moss, who is going to be another actress I'm talking to on Facebook, who played on Friday the 13th.
There you go.
There's a whole little 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon going on there. I might start calling 6 degrees of Kevin Talley before you know it.
What do you think Gerardo's doing nowadays?
Oh my God. Construction.
No.
What is it?
He is a pastor.
No way.
And he lives in the wonderful state of Kentucky.
You've got to be kidding me.
He lives on the border of Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia. Right on the river right there. His wife, who he's been married with for over 30 years, same wife, is from Ironton, Kentucky, or Ohio, I think, or so.
This guy lives probably maybe a couple hours from me.
Yeah, and he's a pastor. He's still helping out. He still sings once in a while. And he still helps out with A&R stuff on privately. So right after right after Rico Suave, he was trying to do more hits, and it never happened. So he went to Interscope Records. He was the first artist ever signed by Interscope Records.
Wow.
He went back to Interscope and said, "Hey, let me help out some Latin. Let me be an A&R person for Latin artists." And
Right.
they're like, "Great." The first artist, or one of the first artists he brought in and helped develop, was an Enrique Iglesias.
No way. Wow.
So he was the A&R guy for Enrique Iglesias to get started. And he's
He kind
done,
of fell off the planet too. Enrique did.
yeah. I mean,
He did like one big album, and
just like Gerardo, Gerardo just went down to Mexico. He's still huge in the Latin market.
right.
I mean, he's Rico Suave,
Yeah. Tasty and smooth, right?
rich
Isn't
and
that what it
rich
was?
and smooth.
Rich and smooth.
Yeah,
I thought it was tasty and smooth. I
I
can't
think it's
remember.
I think it's rich and smooth. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's super nice guy. I mean, down to earth.
You ever notice the video? He had long hair once, then he had short hair again, long hair again,
Buzzed
short
it.
hair.
He
Yeah.
he just shaved it, like last week. Like he's buzzed, like bald.
I wouldn't even recognize him. But yeah, I remember the movie Can't Buy Me Love with Patrick Dempsey in it.
Yeah.
I met Patrick with John Russo at that shoot I told you about in
Oh
Santa
shoot.
Monica. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's so weird. Oh, I love my modeling days, my friend. I could tell you so many stories of the stuff I got to do, the stuff I got to see, people I got to meet, and there's days I miss it. I'd probably do it again if I could get a small part of something. I don't know, but I love what I do now. Just trying to help other people get into it, get a
Yeah.
lift for them. When I saw my girl Savannah fly off to LA, and I told you, she's the first model who followed everything I told her to do. And she had a 3-year contract with Elite in LA, but then she couldn't move because of COVID. They said, don't come here yet.
Oh wow.
So she just moved back. When was it? October of last year she moved. And she came home for Christmas time. She went back to LA. Now she's coming home this month, I think, in a few days, just for about 2 weeks. And she goes back to LA again. But she's the only girl who actually followed every single thing I told her how to do. And she's now there.
Well,
And
it's a lot of it's timing, though, right? I mean, COVID hurt a lot of things, and it's going to help a lot of things.
yeah, it helped. I mean, yeah, the modeling industry went to complete shit, obviously.
Everything, yeah.
Everything did, yeah. Not just
Well, no, musicians. I mean, everyone wants to be a musician until they become a musician and
Yeah.
realize that they have to tour to make money.
Yeah.
Do you know what a Spotify stream pays?
nuh-uh, no idea.
Ballpark.
Like a year or like a week?
No, per stream.
Oh,
Like,
so
if you put your song on Spotify and someone listens to it, how much do you get paid?
I guess I assume it's a royalty payment.
Yeah.
So 79 cents. No idea.
0.0033.
Wow.
A third of a penny.
So if I listen to Geraldo, he's gonna get 0.003.
Yep.
Or yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
a third of a penny. And guess what? You have to pay taxes on that penny, third of a penny.
Oh my God.
Right?
That's
So-
pretty sad.
But that's so musicians basically have to tour to make money.
Oh yeah.
And when there's COVID and nothing's open and you can't tour, you're not making money. That's rough.
You ever watch that interview with Kid Rock when he talked about how the modeling industry, how the music industry, how he figured out from the beginning and how he made his fortune from it? Because he learned the ins and outs early of how these big companies try to take advantage of all the singers and
Yeah.
take a fortune. And he learned how it all worked. He did all the behind the scenes and found out how it all worked, and he worked it for himself. And he
Right.
started making all the money for himself. I was like, that's how you do it. He's got to have a manager, but look at what happened to poor Billy Joel. That really wasn't his fault, but
Still.
I mean, he had a money manager, still pretty much every bit of his money, Billy Joe, you figure the guy would be worth millions and millions and millions. And that guy was practically in the red ink because of one person that fucked with his accounts.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's all it takes.
it is really. I mean, it's interesting to think that way. Jared Leto from 30 Seconds to Mars did a documentary called Artifact about the music industry and how basically he broke down, you get a $500,000 advance,
Yep.
but then out of that, you got to pay it back, and so you're paying that back basically until you get above 500 grand.
Yeah.
So videos that cost money, so it's just It's
You know,
not
I'd say something that's
cracked
really
up to be.
cool is that the actors that I have come in, they don't make a lot of money doing this at all. I
Yeah.
mean, they make maybe a couple grand, $4,000 tops, depending on how many people show up and how many, if they're going to do a 1 or 2 day workshop. I recommend a 1 day workshop because not everyone wants to go do a 2 day or whatnot. But they are so wanting to teach people like the craft that they
Yeah.
learned. Like when Kathy Mary Stewart came in, she let some of the people come in for free because she wanted to fill the class up with more people. And
Right.
she wanted to teach, you know, like my daughter did her hair and makeup and she didn't charge her for it. And she still my daughter to do it. And then she said, come in Sunday for the workshop. Don't worry about, just come in and do it, you know?
Yeah.
And we ended up having a full workshop
That's awesome.
I mean, she loved teaching it. And I know that Diane Franklin coming in soon. She is a teacher, not just acting, but she teaches like K through 12. I think she's like certified licensed teacher.
Sure.
And this is what she loves to do. And she loves the idea of teaching a workshop. So you can tell the passion of some people, what they're really interested in wanting to do it. Like, this is what I love to do. Like the idea of me bringing in like my childhood heroes from movies. I get to meet them in person and take photos and put them in my magazine. And then I get like show these kids and people my age also. They get to come in and say, oh my God, like I remember you from this movie. And, you know, it's like, I get to hear all this and they get to live through them. And I love it. I love what I do now.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
I started late. I started in my upper 30s, and I'll be 50 this December, and I don't regret anything I've done so far.
I started this in my 50s, so
Congratulations.
In the same boat, but it's cool.
Yeah, I want to do more what you're doing. I want to do more podcasting. I want to try to get more into interviews and whatnot, and build up that YouTube channel and whatnot. And
well, you should contemplate doing. I mean, if those actors are there next to you,
yeah.
I mean, why not record a 15, 30 minute?
You know, it's funny. I did a whole video of me and Tony Hudson, and she's there for an hour with I'll send you the YouTube link.
Yeah.
And then I had Kathy Mary Stewart here. And what was so bad, we shot photos all day Friday, went out to dinner that night, and then came back home. And then I was wanting to do an interview with her before she left, and we never did get to. I was almost I wanted to ask her, but not wanting to ask her. I could tell she was tired both after the workshop. I knew she didn't want to sit here with me to do an interview, but I wanted to. But I never did ask her to do it. So, but I regret this day. I want to come back in town. Yeah. Yeah, maybe she'll do it.
Maybe I'll tag her in this post, and then.
Heck yeah, she'll do an interview with you. She's fantastic.
No, just so she'll go and do the interview with you. She'll have to go back.
Come back in. I did a Zoom interview with her, but
there you go.
I already did that, but I want to do a one-on-one with her.
Yeah.
And when Diane Franklin comes in, I'll definitely do that with her as well.
I still say use the oranges against the stop sign.
Oh hell yeah, I need to do that. That'd be hysterical.
The Brooklyn Dodgers.
Film it to her and then say, "Welcome to our podcast." You know, that kind of.
There you go. Cool. Well, I appreciate the time, bud.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
What's the best way for my listeners to see what you got coming up and following you?
If you go to Instagram, Kevin Talley Photo, it's all one word. You'll find me. It's the best way to find me. My website's kevintalleyphoto.com. And you'll find all my links on my Instagram. My modeling agency, my magazine is Moda, MODA-magazine.com. But again, it's all my links on my Instagram. Just all one word, Kevin Talley Photo, Talley.
Perfect.
Tally ho, tally whacker, tally me banana.
I won't even go there.
I hear you. Thanks.
But you will be you're my first Playgirl model to ever be on the show.
That's right. And I was older. I was one of the older guys. I'm not the oldest, but I was one of the older ones that did it.
Well, age is nothing when I can just say, hey, I've now had Playboy models and Playgirl models on my show.
You want to know my big line I use for getting dates when I singled in?
What's that?
I'll say, you don't win Playgirl Magazine's Man of the Year for having a big toe.
Okay, I'm not going to use that one.
Don't use that one. Yeah, that it was more of a joke line, but yeah,
absolutely.
A girlfriend of mine would always try to introduce me to her girlfriends, and she would always use that line. I was like, oh my God, stop!
Stop it.
Stop it. A little more. Okay, now stop. Do it again. Okay, now stop. Yeah.
Now start up again.
Yeah. It was
cool, man.
But yeah, I won't keep you. Thanks for everything, man.
Oh no, man. Appreciate the time. And then if or when I get back out to Louisville, I definitely definitely come by.
Absolutely. I'm here. I'm here.
And if you ever come out to LA to come see Savannah's work or do some guest shots.
I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love to shoot out in Malibu. I got some people, Sir Restaurant out there is actually one of my advertisers in the magazine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so is Julia Post Jewelry. She's advertising my magazine. She's at Newport, I think, or not Newport. Yeah, Newport.
Newport, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so you should come out and visit your advertisers, and then give me a call and we'll go get some lunch.
Thanks, Pete. Good
All right, buddy.
Stay in
Thanks,
touch.
Kevin. Talk to you soon, bud.